I've been hearing about this boycott of African businesses, and I just don't understand what this is about. I've been hearing little glimpses here and there, and maybe somebody could put in the comment, why we are boycotting African businesses. Why are African Americans? I think it's African Americans that are boycotting African businesses, and I've been hearing that it has something to do with some African hair braiding places. So, why are we doing that? What's the reasoning behind that? Now, I'm asking this question in all seriousness because I know I've seen many instances where African Americans have gone into Asian hair shops and been beaten, have been abused, and been just terrorized, been talked down to, followed around the stores, just treated like shit. Put it plain and simple. And when I saw these instances, I saw how easily it was. We were able to forgive those people and go back to spending our money with them. And I just don't understand why we cannot forgive our own people. I mean, I can understand. Okay, if a black business treats you bad, okay, you tell them that. You tell them. You give them the courtesy of letting them know that this is not conducive for good business. And if you want me to continue to do business with you and to tell my friends and family to come and do business with you, that kind of treatment of a customer, me, is not going to be tolerated. You give them the opportunity to correct the mistake. Because I think, Africans and African Americans do have a essential heritage. We are both, us African Americans, we are distant descendants from the continent of Africa. And those that come directly from the continent of Africa have different ideas about African Americans, and we have different ideas about Africans. A lot of those things that have been put into our head has been put into our head to keep us separated, to make sure that we never, ever work together for the betterment of our people. I believe this. I really believe this. I would suggest that those that feel that way about an African business, and for the African people that feel that way about Africans, literally need to read more, understand the psychology that has been perpetrated upon us. Because I would not, even though, I might get treated bad by Africans, and I would tell them that. If they continue to do that, no, I wouldn't do business with them. But I'm not going to boycott all other African businesses because one or two businesses have treated me bad. Because, at some point, maybe you might be lucky. I've been in a situation where I have been treated badly or just treated, I wasn't treated with the kind of respect that I thought my money deserved. In a white business, I ain't even telling them. I'm just not going back. I'm just not going back. I'm done with them. But I'm not going to say I'm going to be done with all white businesses because all white businesses do not treat me that way. And see, that's the kind of mentality we have to have with each other in my humble opinion. If somebody, if an African American, if an African business, if an African business treats me bad, I'm not going to boycott all African businesses. I'm just not going to do that. Why would I do that? You know, we're trying to build, myself, I'm going to speak for myself. I want to build bridges between myself and the Africans in the diaspora. I don't care if you're from Africa, Haiti, Somalia, anywhere that Brazil, anywhere we are represented. I am trying to build alliances. And as long as we keep this bickering up, this bickering and fighting and fussing and all the things that we do to one another, it doesn't help at all. And for those that keep trying to foment that type of mindset, you have to think about, what are they doing it for? What is the real purpose of doing something like that? Who does that benefit? So you don't do your business with them. You do something with an African, or American African. I'm sorry, African American. Okay, that's cool. But do you continue to do that? And is there some kind of methodology, plan, or system whereby doing that benefits African Americans? It really doesn't. Like I said, I'm not going to be mistreated by anybody that I spend my money with, white or black. But I am going to give the black business owner the opportunity to understand that I am not pleased with the way they treated me. Now it's up to them whether they accept that or not. If they don't accept it, they don't get them more my money. And for the people that are Africans over here doing business with Americans, you have to understand that there's a different cultural dynamic that's at play with us. We have been under hundreds of years of systematic white supremacy, so we act a little bit different than you might be accustomed to. So please understand that we are not out to get anybody. All we want is the same thing that you want. You want respect. You want, when a person comes into your business, you want to respect. You want the respect that you have deserved, that you have earned by owning that business. And we want the same thing because we spend our money, especially my people here in America. My only question is, why don't we do the same thing when we're dealing with all of these instances where we've been mistreated by other business owners, white, Korean, Asian, Hispanic. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't dealt with Hispanics, but if that is the case, why don't I hear that same energy? Why isn't that same level of excitement and purpose, why isn't that happening the same way when we're dealing with other people outside of our particular race? I just think we need to do the same thing. If you're going to do that, I want to do it across the board. I want everybody to understand that we are not to be played with. I want them to know that, and I want to be able to do business with my people. And for the few that act like assholes, some are African businesses or black businesses, because I've been in African American businesses where I got treated horrible. They took my patronage for granted. And so because they did that, I don't do business with them no more. So I just want to be able to, I want to have more black businesses that I can go to. That is my ideal situation, where I can go out of my house and spend my money with as many black businesses as I can. we only spend, our money only stays in the community for what, a day, and it's gone. Our money stays in our community for one day, and it's gone. How can you build anything when you don't have the structure, the infrastructure, the mindset that you want to build up what is yours and to make it better, to grow, to prosper, not just not just you, yourself, but for everybody, because in everybody profiting, we all rise up. So let's just rise up together, y'all. Let's just put our heads together. Let's start trying to get along and iron out our differences amongst each other. They had this thing called, what is that called? It was a conference in Africa where they split up. I don't know the exact name of it, but they split up Africa. All these European countries split Africa up. And the Africa that we see today is not the Africa that once was. They split it up. Now, these people were from they were all European, but they were different versions. Like some was like Polish, I think. Some was Dutch. Some were German. Some were French. But they had the wherewithal, the cohesiveness, the mindset, the cohesiveness, the mindset, and the understanding that by doing that, they all benefited from it. Now, they were enemies. They fought wars. That's what World War I and II was about. But when it came to Africa and all of its riches and all of its wealth, all of the opportunity, all the potential that Africa holds, they came together to get all of that land, to get all of those minerals. If they can do that, and they fought wars where millions of people got murdered, just straight slaughtered, we all know about it. Why can't we come together and work for the benefit of our own people, even though we might come from different nationalities, different parts of the globe, parts of Africa, because the diaspora is spread out all over. But I want us to be able to come together and do just like what they did, the Benin Conference, that's the name of it. I want to do exactly what they did. Even though we don't see eye to eye, we're not 100% on anything together. But the thing that they were on was that they were going to take that country, they were going to take that landmass, and they were going to benefit from it. And they knew they were warring with each other, and they came to an agreement. They said, look, I don't like you particularly, and you don't like me, but we have a common interest because we want to take the riches from this continent so that our people can prosper and grow. That is the mindset that we should have everywhere we go. Anywhere that there are Africans of any persuasion, Brazilian, Hispanic Africans, any kind of African, any kind of person that looks like us, we should have the mindset that we are doing this for the benefit, not just for our particular selves, but for the whole. Because that's how they do business. That's how they grow. That's how they've prospered. They do business with one another. Even though they might not like one another, they have different ideas about how the country should be run, how their lives should be ran. You know what I'm saying? You got communism on one end. You got capitalism on one end. You got all these different ideals of how to run a country, how society should be ran. Okay, you put all that aside. That's what they did. They put all that stuff aside and said, look, you are white. I am white. Even though we are fighting each other, We want to come together because in unity, in our unity, we can have it all. But we have to combine our own resources to take this landmass. And that's what they did. They plotted, they planned, and they acted on the plan. So what's to keep us from doing that? Nothing but ourselves. Nothing but our mind, our mentality, how we think about one another. So when I hear things like where someone's saying they're going to boycott a black business, I understand. I don't understand that. For what? We can't come to an agreement. We can't come into that business and talk to that person and let them know how we feel. We can't talk. We can't communicate and come to a common agreement that's going to benefit them and ourselves. We got to get past that. We have to get past that kind of mentality. That is the reason why we have been losing for 400, 500 years, because there's never been any unity. And when there was unity that was started, it was always interrupted. Somebody got murdered. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got greedy. Somebody thought, I want to take care of my pocket, and I'm not thinking about nobody else's pocket. So we just got to weed those people out and think about the whole of our race. And that's the only way we're going to be able to change this thing. Because we're living in a society now, we're living in a world now where these folks trying to take it all back. And you see people here and there. That's why all these African countries are starting to rise up. That's why they're doing it. Because they ain't trying to let that shit happen no more. And we should be helping them fight that fight. We should be uniting not on religious grounds, not on any of that kind of stuff, philosophical, any of that stuff. We should unite on the fact that we are African people. We are people of the sun. And that landmass, all of it, belongs to us. And they keep us apart from each other by using the different tricks and methods and money and everything. They use every resource at their disposal to make sure that we never come together. But we have to get past all of that and come together, because our very existence depends on it, brothers and sisters. Our very, very existence, our children's existence depends on it. We can't continue to do the same thing we've been doing for the last 400 years. We can't. That's all I got. Peace.